Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. Welcome back, everybody. As we know, success can come in very many forms, and anyone can be successful, and it doesn't matter what their upbringing is or where they started from. Our next guest, Mané Bailey, was born and raised in Armenia by a single mom, and then later immigrating to the United States, built a seven-figure business from the ground up. Fast forward today, Mané is a founder and CEO of 4 boutique companies, leading an international team of 20 members. She has consulted more than 58 companies worldwide, ranging from sales proprietors to large corporations, providing corporate training, managing reconstruction projects, and consulting and on marketing and business operations. Inspired by her mom, Station Rove is part of Mané's personal mission to help women have access to the resources, expertise, and support they need to grow their businesses and continue to break through glass ceilings for women everywhere. So, let's welcome Mané to the show and find out the whole story behind what it is that she does and how she does it. 2, 1. Welcome to the show. And okay, you have this huge international business success story. You do business in North America, and you also do business in Armenia and the countries surrounding Armenia.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
what led to that? How did you get there?
Well, the first things first, I am originally from Armenia, so my first experience in business has been there. Then I have had a lot of international clients in Italy, Qatar, Russia, Singapore, Germany. So after working with so many international companies and business owners, when I moved to the United States, I started my first business. So I kind of got into the American style and the way that things are done here. And then at some point I decided to go and give back in a way to my country. So that's why Ivy Armenia was created. And Ivy Armenia is a company that is the first influencer marketing agency within the whole region. So it was very interesting to start in an environment and in a market that isn't really ready for you yet.
So you made them ready for you?
No, we're prepping them. So the business plan, and this is going to go a little bit deeper on things, but because we're new, the market definitely is not ready for an agency like ours. Mm-hmm. But what we are doing, first and foremost, our business plan has a certain timeline of when we're actually expecting to make profit. So it leaves us a little bit of wiggle room of like actually developing the market and our services and our relationships before we're in that stage of, okay, now we need to make profit. So the second thing was we the way we treat this is the investment that we're making into developing the market to the place where we will be recognized as the only, if not the only, but definitely the first and the best in terms of the influencer marketing agencies within the region because we came first, we educated the market, we build the relationships, we answer the questions, we've been there, we've taught you. So we're kind of like building that relationship with the market and prepping it to understand the value that we're bringing.
Very cool. So you're totally pioneering the market.
Yes, in the region,
Awesome.
yes.
So how does it, okay? Said you're doing things a little bit more American style. How does that different than say? Um, well, why don't we start with Italy because Italy and Qatar they're totally completely different countries, and one is a little more westernized than the other one is, right?
Yes, so the Italy has been I think work is very different in every country. The
Mm-hmm.
way the business is done is very different in every country. And there's a level of expectations that are very different here in the United States because, especially with the social media and the market being so big, you constantly have this reminder of major opportunities that you're missing out on. So a lot of businesses are growing not because they want to, not because they can afford to, but because of the fear of missing out on the opportunity. And so that's one side of it. In Italy, for example, people are more, they're not laid back, don't get me wrong, but they value their lifestyle over the money. They
Uh,
don't like overworking. They want to take breaks in the middle of the day.
mm-hmm.
They want to make sure that you have some time for yourself at some time, like through the day or whatnot. In Russia is very different. Like people are in a very, um, you need to do what you need to do kind of mentality, and everybody is just work, home, work, home, work, home. It's a
Well,
little different.
yeah, that kind of sounds like a little bit like yeah, like North America, where if you ask a
It,
lot of people, it's like they go to work, then they get off work, they go home. You know, maybe
yeah.
stop at a pub, but there's not.
Yes.
It's a
However, in North America, you can still have access to opportunities. You still
mm,
have small businesses have possibilities for them. You don't have that there. At least that wasn't my experience.
okay.
Um, it was the way that the North American, like the way North America is structured is that you can genuinely, you can start with no down payment, no capital, and still build a multi seven figure business within few years.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
social
I get
media
that
is
part.
giving those kind of opportunities. And also there's like value of your, not value, but respect of time and effort that is currently in the corporate system as well. It's
Hmm.
not only based on the seniority, it's also based on the knowledge. It's not only, 5 p.m. and that's when you close and you leave because the structure is changing of your work. You get paid overtime for working more, whatnot. In some countries, because there's not as much work out there to begin with, people overwork themselves to be able to sustain out of the fear of losing the job. Um, in Armenia, what I have found is, um, I will say, like a very subtle difference comes also with like work ethic, um, and the way that if people can do work freelance or not. I don't think anybody, I have never worked with anybody in Armenia that would be able to fulfill a freelance position and manage their time efficiently because we're very used to having a 9 to 5, you go in, you go out. So the moment that I let my team figure out their own time schedule, it was a learning curve for us
Mm.
because they had to adjust now to being the owner of their own time and not to be there just for the sake of being there.
Okay, because that,
Um,
that that is very different than North America.
yeah, it is here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even entrepreneurship, again, is very different. The way that people are treating tax system here and the way that taxes are treating in other countries, the way that people go to work, the value of the lifestyle that you are maintaining is quite different. Um, Here, I think people, the capitalism makes you feel constantly behind. That's what I
Mm.
found about North America. It just makes you feel like you will have a six-figure business, you will still feel like you're failing.
Yeah. They. Yeah, I kind of because we're always saying we got to get ahead, right? We're
Yeah.
always in that like.
And then everybody's fleshing their own lifestyle in your eyes. Everybody's fleshing those like, do you want the bigger, the better, the but like
Well,
is you're constantly in this kind of loop of consumption and um more attitude.
right. So let's compare that to because always find myself constantly fighting against that mindset and like, hey, wait, no, I have a great life and in the fact that there's like a lot of things that happen around me that are really cool and everything. We won't get into too many details because I want to focus on details. How how that differs in Armenia? Um, how do they respect their life in comparison to?
I will say that the lifestyle is very different.
Okay,
Um, we and this also comes from a country being a smaller country, people being more connected in general than people are here. We are very casual with our friends and family. We can call in the middle of the night and just be like, "We're coming there. We'll be there in 10 minutes. Give us some coffee." No questions asked. Like we don't. You're lucky if we call ahead if we're coming to your place, basically. So Um, on the other hand, I remember when my husband and I first went to Armenia, this was his first experience there. Um, we went there, we went to a cafe, we were drinking wine, my friends were with us, and I think it was midnight. And we were still sitting there drinking wine, talking about stuff, laughing here, laughing there, maybe, drinking coffee at midnight. It was just a very, casual social conversation. And then he just turns around. It's like, today's a weekday. Like, yes. It's like, do they not work? He said, no, they do. Actually, my friend is the marketing manager of the biggest mall in the country, and she's going to be at work tomorrow. And he goes, well, then why are they drinking at midnight on a weekday outside? Like, just that's just part of the culture. Like, that's just how it's not the part of the drinking, it's the part of like hanging out, socializing, regardless of the time. Um, I think people value their fun, their family, their lifestyle, quality of their lifestyle in general more
yeah.
than they do here. Um, it's amazing how
Well,
much money you can make here
mhm.
and still not have a good life.
Well, let me ask you this because Armenia, the because I have roots to go back to Ukraine, um, and that culture and everything in comparison to the culture of the colonized North American culture, right? Not the native or indigenous culture, but it it goes back how many thousands of years, right? In comparison to a mere couple hundred years, right?
Yes, yeah.
So, so in one respect, isn't North America kind of finding its feet when Armenia's got deep roots?
Uh, we have been around for a very long time,
Yeah.
and we have been in the same place, hanging around the same people. Um, I think again, just to kind of like go back to the values of the country, of the
Uh-huh.
society in general, North America, with all it is extremely capitalistic.
Mhm.
So the priorities of people revolve around money.
More or less, yeah.
In Armenia, we are our highest value is the family.
Hmm.
So all of our work, all of our business, all of our focus revolves around family first.
So
You
instead
don't
of
have to
money
make money.
first, it's family first.
Yes.
Yeah.
People go out of the way, literally out of the way, to pay for your bill, even when they don't make as much money at all. We have this thing where we fight, genuinely fight over the bill at the restaurant. So if you and your friend in Armenia or an Armenian friend anywhere went together to any kind of restaurant, any kind of food place, and you had dinner, at the end when they bring the check, the Armenian person is going to fight and was going to want to pay for both of you.
So- yeah.
It's just the way that we are taught. If we are, even if we are in public transportation,
Hmm.
it's the whole thing of you trying to pay those like $1 for this person. It's just a big deal for us. Even when we're, for example, for our dinners and family gatherings, we don't usually have like potlucks, for example, where everybody brings different things. The host family takes care of everything, and we take pride in it. Here, it's a little bit different. People have their own roles and their own kind of
Yeah.
contribution that they can make to things. So, and in no shape or form is one better than the other.
No, no, no.
Every
We're not going
concept
to say
has a
that.
very different. Like, I would never be able to live away from my family for an extended period of time, and I would say no to incredible opportunities just for the reason of staying with them. In the United States, because it's so big, because your college is not usually in your own state, because your first job might be in a completely different location, you're kind of getting used to the fact that a family doesn't always live together, stay together, and whatnot. You're kind of used to the fact that you might be in California and your family might be in New York. There
Well,
is a possibility.
I was going to say that I'm on the West Coast, just above Seattle, and my family is in Philadelphia. You know,
Exactly my point.
yeah, exactly, right. But you wouldn't, but you wouldn't see that in Armenia. Um,
No, no.
Everybody kind of stays clustered together.
Yes. We have a lot of big differences in culture. I think it's not just between North America and Armenia, but just in general. We have our kids live with their parents until they're married. Some of them stay with their parents even after they're married.
Hmm.
Uh, we don't allow couples to live together unless they're at least engaged, if not married. That's the better solution. We have certain expectations when it comes to the relationship between a kid and a parent, and a parent and a kid. When it comes to businesses, we expect our business owner, friends, and family to hire people from our inner circle first, or at least to look for people there first. Um,
Hmm. Well,
we care about who your parents are when we're marrying our kids to you. Like it's just everything is very connected.
Yeah. So when you're building your business, especially being in a influencer market business, how do you adjust from culture to culture? Do you have to change your whole business plan around in order to make it fit the culture, or do you keep the same basic business plan and tweak it so that it fits?
No, you change the whole thing. The foundation of the business is the same. So the core values are the same. The brand identity is the same. The direction we want to go, the mission that we have is the same. However, how we're getting there is absolutely different.
Yeah.
And our business plan is different according to that. For example, in Armenia, we don't have a lot of content creators because it's a fairly new thing in general. So our priority was um, building preferably exclusive relationship with key people that were the most advanced in terms of content creation and influencer marketing. In the US, the exclusive relationship is not going to put us the step ahead. What our strategy here was is building relationships and longer lasting relationships with different brands, where through them we will be able to have not only access but also relationships and connection with more content creators. Um, and here, even if I do 5 campaigns for 5 different, um, let's say, skincare brands, I
Mm-hmm.
can still create 5 completely different campaigns that would have similar ROI, but be very different in concept, in the number of influencers, in their budget, whatever it is. Um, in Armenia, it is going to be very hard. You're not as focused on a niche. You're not as focused on um, finding a very targeted influencer, a content creator, because there's so few of them in general that you just have to pick the ones who can generate the better brand awareness and conversion isn't there are a lot of different things. Like for example, here in the US, you would give your creator a link to attach to the story, let's say, so
Right.
that we can see what the conversion is on the back end. But in Armenia, e-commerce is still in the infancy stages. So the UTA tracking is just isn't helpful because people don't buy things online as much as they do
Right.
here. So the strategies for campaigns are different.
So
The business strategy is different. And also the way that we even hired people were very different. While in the US, we had a lot of contractors. In Armenia, we had to find full-time people because there's so few of people who would really understand what the influencer marketing really is. And we don't have as many professionals there. So we had to, if we found somebody, we would make an investment to keep them.
well, that makes sense. So let me ask you this, because you did say something that I want to focus on for a second. Um, and you said that your core values had to remain the same. So what are the core
Yes.
values of your business?
So with Ivy Entertains, there we have 4 values that we're trying to upkeep while we're building the business. The first thing first is creative first. So we want to make sure that all of the campaigns that we're doing, whatever we come up with, is something that is out of the box, that is something that we have some kind of creative spin on the solution. The second, we're very data driven. That's what we had to like. We are still kind of struggling in Armenia with, um, but we are trying to keep it as much as we can. We're Our decision making process is very data driven. I think sometimes when we talk about influencer marketing, we focus on the creative side a lot and we don't focus on the numbers. or we focus on the numbers and we don't focus on the creative side. So it's either or. So we're trying to combine the both. The third, which I think is the biggest thing here, we love brands, but we operate for creatives. We operate for influencers, because their interests in most of the conversations are the ones that are being hurt by brands having access to contracts, litigators, and budgets to be able to dictate their own rules. So the interests of the creator are extremely important for our business. And the fourth is the community. And when I say community, it isn't necessarily revolving around the outside people. It's also the inside people. Our team is building a community itself. We're building a community outside of Ivy, especially in Armenia right now. We're focusing on doing roundtables, educational events. We're actually building an association for influencers and marketers so that we can bring them together around the table to discuss different issues, because the market needs changes. And those changes cannot happen if we don't agree that we're a part of a bigger thing, all of us.
Very cool. So, for you to exist both in the U.S. And in Armenia, you have to. Those values are really concreted into it.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the business has to have their values. Like the business has to have values in mission and the core understanding of who you are and at the core. And then from that point on, what country you're in doesn't really change what business you are. It might change the tactics you're using. It might change your marketing strategy that you're using, but who you are as business doesn't change because you changed your location. Let's have an example of Apple. Apple is an innovator. They are for luxury. They are for simplicity. They are for good looks. They are for absolutely, and they are for innovation. It doesn't matter what country they're in. It doesn't matter where you operate from. Your values stay the same. Their products will be. They might create a product that is specifically made for Middle East. I don't know, for whatever reason, they decide that they want to create this one little thing that will be specifically specifically made for Middle Eastern countries. Even in that case, they will still keep their innovative side. They will still make it luxurious. They will still make it look good. They will still make it accessible. They will still make it, I'm trying to find the right word in my brain right now. They're still going to make it interesting for people to buy into. It might not be. It will be a different product for that market, but the brand will stay the same.
Right.
So that's the way I'm approaching this.
Yeah. So whenever you see the apple with the bite taken out of it, you know it's going to be quality. You know it's going to work well, and like some of the Apple products that are around me at this time, I have one Apple computer that I still use every day, and I bought it in 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you make sure that you're putting that quality, that those values into every piece of content that your team builds, no matter where they are?
Exactly. If we talk about Coke, your first association is going to be the red color. There's absolutely no way that they're going to change that color because they came to a different country. That's not going to change. Coke is still going to be associated with music. It's still going to be associated with gifts, with Christmas, with bubbles, with friends, with family. No matter where you go, no matter what kind of product they come up with, even no matter what kind of bottles that you use for things, the business will stay the same.
Right. Well, the Coke is an interesting example because coca is a sacred plant in, say, South American countries like Bolivia, where they actually had to ditch coca because of that. It, um, it was litigated and they had to ditch it, but the quality to the product, the quality to the bottling, the quality to the delivery, and all that stuff remained the same, even though the name slightly changed.
Yeah, but I'm not really sure about that one, but I will check. But what I will say that in my country, for example, you know how in the US you would say Coke
Yeah,
as a shorter version of things?
yeah, yeah.
We don't do that. We say cola.
Right.
So when we go to a restaurant and we want to order, we don't say we would like to have some Coke. We say we want cola. So
Mm.
even like the part where we're highlighting in the countries are different, but the product is
Yeah,
the same, the business
yeah.
is the same, the values are the same, the direction is the same. That's why so many companies that exist in different places at the same time have headquarters that decide their overall marketing direction, their overall way of focusing on different products and whatever it is. So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, it
I'm
sounds like a
learning.
lot of fun. Because you're not sitting there. It's the same old. It's when you go to another country to try to do the same work.
Yeah.
You you have to adjust yourself so you get so that you meet your objective, right?
Yeah, of course. Even the objections that we receive from different brands and different influencers are very different from the ones that are here. So I'm excited. It is an interesting way. I have been working with international brands for a very long time now, and I've had clients in different countries. So I'm just used to adapting to different things.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope and I'm very grateful that my team is learning that adaptability as well, because nobody really cares about my adaptability if they are not following.
So, what drove you to even start business to begin and start your own business? What drove you to do that?
Ooh, back in 2017, when I immigrated to the United States, I realized that I was looking for a job, and I couldn't find anything because yeah, I would be constantly offered 14 to $16 an hour jobs of admin assistants while I had 2 degrees and almost a decade of experience at that time in business consulting. So I just felt like every time it was just offensive, every time you would get an offer, I was like, this is what you want to offer me? So at some point I realized that if there is no table for me to sit at, I can just create my own. So instead of going with a $15 an hour job, which by the way, I did work at a $15 an hour job for I would say 8 months while I was building my business. Um, but I was it was never for the purpose of having a job. It was just to have something to stable that I can funnel the money if need be into other things. And that's how my first business started, because I was like, okay, I'm like, nobody takes me seriously because I come from a different country, because my degree is not in a United States based university, and maybe because I did not pay over 100K for my education. I am going to build my own thing, a place where my experience and my knowledge, my ability to work with international companies, my ability to help with high budget marketing campaigns, my ability to adapt to the small business owner and the big business owner, and all of that can come to play. And that's how I started my first business.
Yeah. Glad you did. So, what do you think your biggest success is?
My biggest success,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, I think it would be my daughter and how I'm involving her in different things. She's my biggest success story. She's a part of every story, to be honest. We're lucky right now because she is still at the daycare, which means that she's not in our call. But most of the time, if I have any calls on weekends, she's a part of every single negotiation, every single phone call. Um, I think the biggest success that I have is being able to be there for her.
Yeah.
Um, Still have a business, still have my own dreams and my own things, but I'm extremely lucky and privileged to be able to spend time with her.
Yeah. What is the number one thing you want your business to be known for in the world at this point?
For Ivy Entertains, I would love for it to be known for creativity. I want people to say, this is the brand you go to if you want something out of the box. This is the one to go. So that's where how I would like to be positioned with that. Um, with my other business with Station Rove, I think every time somebody would say, um, I'm a woman business owner, where do I go? The answer should always be Station Rove.
Very cool.
Always.
As a person, what do you what do you want to be your legacy as a person?
To live a very happy life. I don't believe in legacies as much. I don't prioritize it as much as others do. I have known people who have put incredible amount of effort into building a legacy that never got them anything.
Hmm.
They have spent so much time, energy, resources into building this big vision of the brand or business or even family. And then when they pass away, or when something goes wrong and that no longer exists, it's a devastating crash that happens. I think people forget that we need to live. We need to enjoy. We need to have fun and have joy in our lives, have prioritize having time with our families and with our friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do not care for people I do not care for my business to sustain after I'm gone or for years to come. I genuinely don't. If that is going to compromise my ability to enjoy my life right now.
Hmm.
Let's think about, Ford, the founder of General Motors. Like if you say, that's their legacy, right? That machinery that is kind of coming through with us through the decades. But if that happens because they did not have time for their family and they only
Well,
had time to invest
yeah,
in their business, who cares?
yeah. I'm gonna say this about the Henry Ford who started the Ford Motors, right? That um, Ford Motors may have lost part of that legacy in the fact that he wanted to be able to build a business that with a product that his own people could afford to drive home themselves. And that's a little iffy right now, but his priority as a person, from some of the things that I've read about him was towards, hey, family first, right? And he wanted his employees to be part of his family. Is that how you see it? Did you want the people who work with you to be part of your family?
They are. I
You didn't even
truly,
hesitate.
no, they are because I will find somebody who doesn't, maybe their qualifications are not right there where I need them, but we align and we have a very good relationship at work. I
Hmm.
would choose that over spending my time with people that annoy me at the same time while they're doing quality work. Um, I was very lucky again and very blessed with my life because I had never had to work at a place that I did not like, have a job that I did not like, work in a company that I did not enjoy. So, because, we talk about work life balance, and I truly think that there has to be some, but I think that the work life balance is a myth because we have 24 hours in a day. We spend at least the third of it at work. The
Yeah.
other third of it we're spending asleep. And then we have another third of it that's left to be distributed between friends and family and personal development and your gym and your cooking and your chores and your commute, your everything. So there is no work life balance. It is impossible to have a work life balance when your life and your work do not have equal time that is being allocated for them. So we spend most of our days with our colleagues, with people that we work with. We spend more time with them than we spend with our spouses. So if we do that, if you just think about it in a way that you spend more time with these people than you're spending with your husband, and you choose your husband so meticulously, knowing what they like, knowing what they don't like, where they stand on certain political issues. Do you think about future the same way? That's exactly how you need to be choosing your colleagues if you have the power over choosing them. So for me, I choose my team members, my employees, and my team in a way that we are going in the same direction. We are in a long-term relationship. We are not in a one night stand kind of situation. We're going to be together forever. Like, I need to know where you stand. I need to know if your mom is sick. I need to know if you need to do something. I need to know. And that's how the relationship for me is done because I spend way too much time with them to not like them.
Right. Okay. Because we're running out of time.
Sorry about
No, but this is good. This is cool. Um, because I like what you stand for, and it's really good. Um, if you had a message to somebody starting up their own influencer business, what would that message be?
the the only thing that I would say is not get distracted with flashy lights and flashy objects on social media. Influencer marketing is not only um, trips to Dubai for an opening ceremony or um, free products and things of that sort. It's also a lot of work on the back end. And if you're going into this thinking that this is going to be just like shiny experience, you're going to fail. So um, keep have a better understanding, I guess, of what you want to do.
Okay.
Know the business better before you get into it.
Yeah. So, best ways to get a hold of you and work with you?
Well, with Ivy Entertains, you can find us online on any kind of social media with IVY Entertains and ivyentertains.com. And if you want to hang out with me, then go to Instagram at Ask Mané Bailey or to LinkedIn as Mané Bailey, and let's chat.
Cool. Mana, it was great meeting you and great speaking with you today. I hope
All
to have you
right.
back again.
Well, let me know. I'm always happy to be here.
Yeah. I think we share a lot of the same core values, so it'd be like really cool to hang out. And I think somewhere we might be following each other on Instagram. So cool.
Yes, we might.
All right. Again, thank you everybody for listening, and please find that subscribe button wherever you see it, so you can get continued updates from us and get to hear from more people like Mana.
Thank you. Have a great day today.
Okay.
Recording stopped.
Hang on 1 second.
And I looked up at a shooting star, and then I wondered who you are. I just need to know. So I wished upon that shooting star, and then I wondered where you are. Is it destiny, or is it meant to be? Power of the mind is something we cannot hide. Oh, it's help us to go And I looked up at that shooting star, and then I wondered who you are. I don't know your name, so I wish upon that shooting star, wondering if you feel the same. Is this destiny, or is it meant to be? Take me like a little child in your arms. We can drift away to another world.
This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.